know, but the definition of hustle is forced movement or to be hurried, right? But we're not talking about just pushing other people. Sometimes you got to push yourself, and that what makes you a hustler. True story. So the thing about it is, like, when it comes to hustling, listen, quick story. I used to go buy juleps a lot, right? And my grandmother used to make me clean the yard, you know, shovel snow, do things like that to go get a julep. But one day she was like, look, you putting all your money in someone else's pocket. Word. Save those quarters, and I can teach you how to make a formula, and you can sell your own juleps. You understand? So the next couple weeks, I saved my money.
Always a hustler.
Listen,
got to love
but think
everybody
about
got
this.
a grandma story like that.
Grandmothers are the natural hustlers because they were the ones who maintained and sustained our families through epidemics. You're talking Big Mama went through slavery and held it. You're talking Big Mama went through the Depression and held it. Big Mama went through crack and held it and still maintains it today. So if you don't think you come from a hustler, then you don't know where you come from. You understand?
That's so real.
I began to sell juleps, and ever since then, I capture a hustle. And a hustle is not a swindle. It's not a sneaky thing. It's up front. You're providing a need. You understand? So you're the bridge. If you're a true hustler, you're trying to be the bridge. If somebody's on one side and they need to get the other, you're trying to be the bridge, fill in the gap. So hustling is a lifestyle. It's not something you can do 10 minutes out the day. It has to be something you live.
Word.
Hey, what's up? This is Nate, host of the Artist Exchange Radio Show. Tune in every Friday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. and every Saturday, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Real artist, real talk, real live. Here, live on BeExposedRadio.com.
Check out this flashback of the Artist Exchange Radio Show on BeExposedRadio.com.
If you had a dream venue, where would that be? Like, some people want to do Carnegie Hall or like a big stadium somewhere.
I want to go with Madison Square. I wanna feel that building.
You just gonna shoot for the moon.
I want to feel it. I want to look out and just feel the vibration of all of those people there to be uplifted and all of that, because that's what I want to do for people.
So are you dancing? Are you...
I want to implement that. I think I want to start doing some blocking. Like, not like, tear it up. But just like, a
little 1, 2.
Artist Exchange.
The Artist Exchange. The Artist Exchange. The Artist Exchange.
The Artist Exchange.
Artist Exchange Live.
The Artist Exchange. The Artist Exchange.
The Artist Exchange.
Starts now.
Hey, welcome and thank you for tuning in to the Artist Exchange Radio by Be Exposed Radio. I am your host, Hollywood, and we have our special guest in here. He's a amazing guy right here. I actually done some work with him previously, and he's a great author, young author at that. So before I even go, I'm gonna let him introduce himself.
Hello guys, my name is Cordell Forbes. I write a book, I sing, I do artwork, I dance, mainly the basics. I'm here. I'm actually happy to be here. Thank you for having me here.
Okay. So as far as you being a artist and author, what do you like about it? Like, what draws you to actually like become an author and an artist, and what makes you like what pushes you to chase your dream?
Well, my aunt is an author herself, so she inspired me to be an author. Most of the time I didn't really like doing writing and reading books in that case, but something drew me to that, exposure in that case. So I was trying to follow by her words and just lead beyond.
Okay. So also we have Miss Patricia Harrison here. How you doing today?
I'm fantastic. Thank you for having us.
Go ahead, tell the world, explain to who you are.
My name is Patricia Johnson Harris. I'm going to drop the Johnson soon. It's just going to be Patricia Harris. And I am the founder of the African American Authors and Empowerment Expo. And we also have a nonprofit organization, a 501c3 organization called the Youth Writers Challenge. And under that umbrella, we have a program called the Youth Writers Rock program.
Oh, yeah.
And we just had our first graduation this past August, where 10 kids who went through the program, which is a 6-month program, at the end of the program, all were published authors. And as you mentioned, Cordell is here with us. He's one of the 10 youth that went through the program. He was in our high school group. And these kids just did an awesome job. They were dedicated. They were committed. They showed up each and every Saturday for the 6 months that they had to, gave up their weekends, you know.
Yeah.
And a big shout out to the parents, you know, who actually had to get them to the library to do the program, and also have the same commitment and dedication that these kids, these young youth had to have to complete this program. So I'm very, very excited for them. I'm excited for what's about to come, what's about to happen for them.
Oh, yeah.
And just knowing that this program kind of molded them in a certain way, you know, that's going to give them some tools and techniques to keep them moving on throughout their lives. And the one thing that they can always be able to say at this point moving forward is that I'm a published author.
Right. And I can speak from personal experience from being there at some of the at the Youth Writers Rock filming.
Yes.
It was like actually awesome just sitting here listening to y'all talking and actually going through, you know, because it's so much negativity in the world in Baltimore that a lot of people don't see the good that's going on,
right,
or how people are, or the youth is shaping their minds and doing something positive. And that's actually a great thing and an excellent thing, because I see him all the time, even outside of Youth Writers Rock when we go out, where he lives and whatnot.
Yeah, and the thing about the program is that, you know, when the students came into the program, none of them knew each other. You know, there were 2 sisters that were in the program, but outside of that, they didn't know each other, but they left as a family.
Right.
You know, they left still connecting with one another and keeping in contact with one another, you know. So even though we may have started out as strangers, even the instructors, you know, we didn't know these kids, but now they're our kids as well. You
right.
know, we want to make sure they do well. We want to make sure they're protected. We want to make sure everything is going well with them. So we continue to keep touch with them and with their parents, because now we're just one family.
Right.
You know, that's looking out for one another and supporting one another.
Right. Far as both of you, what were some of the challenges during the Youth Writers Rock during those 6 months? What were some of the challenges that you had to face?
The challenges that I had to face was writer's block. A lot of the time, I had writer's block. When I was bringing good ideas to the table most of the time and every day that I was there, it was just, I was like a wall blocking me from my ideas, and I didn't know what to do. But something clicked, and I finally got my ideas, and everything just came flowing out.
Right.
So,
right. So, as far as that, what were some of the ideas, if you don't mind shedding a little light? Or also, you can tell the audience about your book.
Well, some of my ideas was basically on bullying, because a lot of the students that's in school don't know how to tell their parents that they're being bullied in that case, or it's just like they don't know how to say anything to their parents or family members, friends in that case. So we was trying to bring the word out that all of the bullies that's in school, you really don't have to be afraid of.
Right.
You know, you could be supportive. Right. Somebody that's being bullied, help them out, speak to them, counseling, because a lot of the teachers really don't listen. Right. You tell them, but they don't listen. Right. And we need to bring most of that out to all of the youth and kids across the country, that you really don't have to be afraid of bullies, and bullies don't have to be afraid of themselves.
Right, right. Because we actually did a campaign about bullying, and it affected me, because it's true, like you said, a lot of people do go through facing bullying. Because I was bullied when I was in school, and I was like, I didn't know how to handle it or what to do or what to say, and I would tell a teacher, and then when I go tell the teacher, they be like, okay, yeah, we'll take care of it. I'm like, all right, we'll see. And weeks go past, they still haven't done nothing. And then when you get in an altercation, it's always like a problem. But it's a good thing that pretty much just like shedding a light on it, because bullying is a serious topic, because a lot of people do things from being bullied. You know, some people commit suicide, some people go in deep depression, or some people lash out and hurt people and not even knowing it, just because of the hurt they've been through. And just by shedding the light actually on bullying is a great thing. And this is the book called The Tormentors. And actually I like it because I believe this is y'all characters as well. This is actually y'all on the book.
Yes.
Yes, that's them on the book. They created their characters down to the clothing they would be wearing, the hair, everything. So whoever purchases the book, when you look at the back of the book, you'll actually see the 4 authors on the back. And then when you turn back to the cover, you can tell who is who on the book. But, you know, just getting back to the whole bullying, I was recently reading an article on Facebook about a young man. His mom was Caucasian, his dad was African American, you know, and of course some of the school was predominantly white, was bullying this young man, and his mother didn't know what to do, and she put a post out on Facebook just kind of venting a little bit about what they was experiencing. And then they came up with this campaign to walk this young man to and from school every day. So all these groups of people got together and met him after school every day and made sure that he was not bullied, you know, on his way home. And it's so relevant today, you know, which is why we decided to make the high school book about bullying. It happens in every grade, you know, all the way down into elementary. These young kids are being bullied, you know. But we decided to make it a high school book just to kind of give people more awareness. You know, these are the youth themselves that are writing this. You know, they're expressing their thoughts, their feelings behind it, what they've experienced behind it, and they're putting it into a book, you know, and it's our responsibility to take note of that, you know, to read it as adults, you know, to read it, to understand it, take responsibility for it, and support it, you know. And that's why it was important for us to put resources in the book, you know. If you're experiencing this, or if you notice someone else that is experiencing bully, you can call this number, you can go to this website, you know. So it's not just a great read. The book it's funny, it's, you know, it has some fun stuff in it, it has some serious stuff in it, but it also has resources in it.
It's informative, That's good, that's good. As far as you, Miss Harris, when dealing with, when you was also for the Youth Writers Rock, what challenges did you face when you was actually helping the children out becoming published authors?
Well, you know, when you got 10, 11 different youth personalities in one space, you know, you always challenge, even with adults, when you work with, even with doing the expo and I'm working with 30, 40 authors, you know, you got a lot of different personalities. So, you know, so it's really just adapting to that person, learning how to talk to that person and address them. You know, it just might be different with each one, you know. Challenges is always, you know, just kind of making sure the kids are there on time, you know, and making sure they do what they're supposed to do. And for the most part, we had no issues with that. They was very respectful of the library that we had the space in, of the staff of the library, respectful of the instructors that were supporting them and helping them through this. But I would say for the program itself, the biggest challenge was getting funding. I would have thought that people would have been coming out of the woodwork to support a youth writing program, and it has been very challenging to get funding, even so to start our next session. We're still working towards that, but that's, as far as the program goes, that's one of our biggest challenges. But in doing the program just within the group and working with the kids, it was pleasantly surprised that we did not have a lot of issues, you know. Like I said, some may have been tardy, you know, and just kind of, there was never any fighting going on amongst them or anything like that, you know. Good. Yeah, they all really seem to respect one another and enjoy one another's company.
Okay. For you, so since I saw you at the Youth Writers Rock, I saw you at the African American Authors Expo. How did you feel about that experience?
That experience actually exposed me to everything in the world. To be honest, a better college, maybe I wanted to attend to it, and it's a lot of authors that actually go there that I didn't even know. I read some of those authors' books, and it was really interesting. And one of them had caught on to me, and I was like, this is what I've been talking about for the last 2 years.
Right.
And it's been some time that I found somebody that actually knows what I'm going through,
right,
and talking about through those last 2 years. I'm actually happy that I actually went.
Right.
Selling my books, meeting new people, having my friends come there too. It was a lot.
Right, I can see you saying for the past 2 years, so like pretty much you spoke it into existence. So pretty much you was manifesting into what you was doing, and that's a great thing. Always, just being a young author and actually just meeting new people and actually networking and actually like feeling motivated to even do it more and actually seeing what you want to do in life, and that's actually a good thing because you can be an inspiration to the younger generation that's coming up. And that's always a blessing nowadays because it's not a lot of it going on. But we'll be right back with you after this commercial break on the Artist Exchange Radio by BeExposedRadio.com.
Check out what you missed on Be Exposed Radio.
Are you getting your kids this hoverboard thing that's taking over the country? You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com, the home of Talk Lately with Monty, every Tuesday at 7 p.m.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ball in street? Girl in street!
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ball in street? Girl in street!
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Even as a comedian, if I say a joke and it just might not fit your cup of tea, but it's mine,
yeah,
that's what a comedian is supposed to do.
But people forget
everybody's not going to find your jokes funny. They better find mine funny.
But they forget that, though. They really forget that. They forget that but it's your view. That's why they didn't fire her.
Yeah.
Because her viewpoint is controversial.
Her view. That's the view she sees.
Right.
Everybody is clear to her.
Like they did the reaction to
cellophane.
They did the reaction to the Chris Rock Oscar, and they were talking about Stacey Dash, and I don't think she agrees with Stacey Dash, but she pointed her out as somebody who has an opinion that's just different from everybody else's.
Her opinion is just stupid, though. Stacey Dash she's like a dash. Let's just move on.
I think she's intelligent, but her
You're still going.
opinion.
We're gonna move on. Stacey Dash doesn't need to be talked about. She's irrelevant.
You said her name like 3 times already.
She's irrelevant.
I said it once.
Dash. Dot. So I couldn't have meant that more. She is so irrelevant. I'm not even going to say her name. But we're here every Tuesday, and we talk about people just like that at 7 p.m. only on BeExposedRadio.com.
Thank you for tuning in to BeExposedRadio.com. Sit back, relax, and listen to this flashback of the Artist Exchange Radio Show.
Football, you basically have a good 10 to 12 years, and that's what it is.
When you have a lot of people retiring early, it's funny. A lot of me and my alumni from UVA, where I graduated from, one of our fellow Wahoos, he retired yesterday, 32 years old, to Brickashaw Ferguson, and he's been in the league like 10 or 12 years. So like you said, a lot of guys are making that change on their own now because they're seeing a lot of things from the the concussion movement,
right?
Stuff that's been happening. Is not the noun, is the effects later, because you see different stories of men are in like their 50s and some are committing suicide because of the banging and the voices or the concussions. And
did you see that?
I haven't got a chance to see it. But
not the movie, but did you see?
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Welcome back to the Artist Exchange Radio. I am your host, Hollywood. We have our special guests in here. They can go ahead and introduce themselves.
My name is Cordell Forbes, and I'm here I'm actually glad to be here in that case.
Okay.
And I am Patricia Harris, the founder of the African American Authors and Empowerment Expo and the 501c3 nonprofit organization, the Youth Writers Challenge.
Okay. And I actually had the privilege to be there on some of the events at the Youth Writers Rock. And I'm just going to say it's amazing. Like, if you have children that you just want to put in some positive environment as far as becoming young artists and just learning more about themselves and just wanting to expand their mind and brain, Youth Writers Rock is definitely the place to be. From elementary up to high school?
Yeah, grades 4 through 12.
4 through 12. I mean, it's amazing. I'm definitely putting my children in it. So I have a question for you. What did you get out of the program, through the 6 months? Because I know sometimes 6 months, but yeah, that's how I feel sometimes when it's I know I got 6 months, but I know it's a good thing coming out of it, so it's a positive. Yes. So what did you get out of being in Youth Writers Rock?
For me, that part, it was like anxiety in that case. It was just rush. It was basically more of I want to do this program because I want to just get something out of it. But this program had taught me something from the last 6 months. And I'm glad that it taught me something that I can give out to the world. Because I had held that idea of doing something to giving out to the world for a very long time, but I just didn't know how to do it.
Right.
So this is actually the most part that I can give to the world, is this book and the program that I was in, the Youth Writers Rock Challenge.
Right.
So I'm actually glad that I was in this program.
Okay. And what did you get out of it? Can you go more in depth just a little bit?
It was basically ideas. Exploring mostly the books and good ideas, sharing and coping with the team.
Right.
Because there's really nothing without coping with a team if you have a team. And I'm actually that's what I really got out of it. It was basically a group, and I'm glad I had the group with me to help me with to base my ideas further than what they were.
Okay.
That's definitely, I have to say, one thing that I know each group learned, because with the 10 kids, we split them up in groups. We did a elementary group, a middle school group, and a high school group. And not that they was necessarily in those grades, but that's the demographic that they were writing the books for. And what I noticed in all three of these groups was that most of them had to learn how to collaborate, how to bounce ideas off of one another, how to ask for suggestions. Oh, you know what? Why don't you try this for your character? That might work, They they learn something that now they use in their language arts class, they use in their science classes, and some of them even use in their math class, because they learned, one, to work as a team. So they learned how to problem solve. You know, okay, that's not going to work. He can't do this and do that. What do y'all think we should do? You know, they had to learn how to do all those things that in life is going to help them in their work, you know, when they find jobs. And it's definitely helping them in school, you know. So I think what Cordell is saying is that just coming together and working as a team, you know, effort, and to be able to say, we did this as a group, you know, we wrote this book, you know, as one.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Question, Cordell, another one. I have tons of questions because, man, it's just amazing that, you know, the youth is just coming up in a positive way. Would you refer people to come join the Youth Writers Rock?
Yes, because as for those children or other people that I would refer, it would be a good environment for them. It will be more based on what Ms. Harris has said, you know. So it's basically, you know, coping with the team. It's a team effort, bringing out those ideas that you have kept in for a very long time, you know, and you would know those ideas that you haven't saw that was in those children and youth in that case, that now you can see that they're bringing out good ideas, that they was brainstorming, you know. Better ideas make things perfect. It does.
Okay. Now, since you've been going, since you did the Youth Writers Rock, how do you apply this to your life and everyday challenges that you face?
For me, I really don't look at it in a way that other people would, but most likely I will be most on focusing on the future for me, you know, based on what do I have to do to get what I want, you know, instead of being held back and looking at the past, because most of the time I've been looking in the past to find my answer in the future. But most of I need to find my answer in the future to keep on going on to the future.
That's deep. That's real deep. Stop looking in the past for your answer for tomorrow, man. See, y'all see this? Y'all hear this? Oh my goodness! Give me some of that one, bro. Okay. So, what's new? What should we be expecting from you? Like, what's coming up?
Well, we are creating a volume 2 for the book.
Okay.
And in this book, we're going to have bigger ideas, bigger experiences that's most likely in schools, and more problems that we find in schools to add in the schools. You know, students that have problems with certain specialties, you know, how we can put that in the book, how we can have all problems in the book to find answers for those students that's later on in the future is going to read.
Okay. Also, don't forget to shout out your social media, man, so people can find you, you know, buy your books and just get to know more about you, and just, you know, so you can be an inspiration to younger people that's coming up.
Right. One of them is Twitter. It's Author Cordell. Facebook, Author Cordell Forbes. And Instagram, I do have an Instagram. Let's see, it's Author wrote this book. You know, so I do keep it on a low, but I also bring it out more. I'm starting to bring it out more so people can look at it and see what I'm doing. Where else places that I'm going. And, you know, for them to be in their house, they're traveling with me during those journeys and basing on my future. You know, what is going on, what is Author Cordell is going to do today. You know, so I do keep it up to date.
That's awesome. Y'all, you heard it from Cordell. We'll be right back with you after this commercial break on the Artist Exchange Radio, brought to you by BeExposedRadio.com.
It is with great pleasure that I welcome you to today's graduation ceremony. Students, when you hear the reason or reasons for your absences throughout the years, please exit the auditorium without your high school diploma. Once you've exited, remove your cap and gown and proceed into the unknown. Too tired. Family trip. Part-time job. Helping around the house. Sick day. Starting the holidays early. Just because.
Starting in the 6th grade, students who miss 18 days or more of school in a year for any reason will fall behind and risk not graduating high school. How many days of school has your child missed this year? Absences add up. Keep track at boostattendance.org today. Brought to you by the U.S. Army and the Ad Council.
The Artist Exchange Radio Show every Friday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Every Saturday, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Real artist, real talk, real live on BeExposedRadio.com. As busy as you are, because they're good at itemizing their time, and they actually have a passion for what they do. One of the biggest lessons that I learned, I get to say this on Weird, was finding people who are not only interested in doing what you need to get done, but people who have a passion for it, because that will eliminate the idea of people just working for a paycheck. Right. Because when people sign up for a paycheck, we all had jobs where we slacked off, where we stole away in a little storage room.
Fell asleep.
Thank you.
I saw a meme the other day that had Bart Simpson and the little boy with the glasses. I didn't watch the show, so don't be mad at me. Don't send me no daggum messages. The little boy with the glass, Millhouse, that was his name. He's showing him a cave, and it says, when you're asked to show around the new coworker, and it says, this is where I come to cry. Cool.
TGIW, you listening to the Be Inspired Radio Show.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com, the home of Talk Lately with Monty, every Tuesday at 7 p.m.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Welcome back to the Artist Exchange Radio. I am your host, Hollywood. We have our co-hosts.
Sweet baby, hey, hello again. Happy Saturday.
And we have still our special guests in the room. We have Miss Patricia Harris.
Patricia Harris, founder of the Youth Writers Challenge, a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and the African American Authors and Empowerment Expo.
Also, we have another special guest, another young artist in the building. You can go ahead and introduce yourself, brother.
My name is Terrell Miller, and I'm one of the authors of the Youth Writers Expo.
Awesome. Can you tell us about your experience for the Youth Writers?
My experience was good. It was pretty hard, but I got used to it because I really love writing. So I really loved it because
It's okay.
My mom, she always wanted me to be an author, and I always wanted myself to be an author. So I really love the experience because I always wanted to make my own book, and now I'm finally an author, and the opportunities were great.
Right. Okay. During the process of Youth Writers Rock, what were some of the things you loved doing about it?
I love the brainstorming ideas with our group. I love putting our ideas together and making one whole thing.
Okay.
How old are you?
I'm 12.
That's good. What's your book about?
It's called The STEM Detectives, and it's about 4 middle schoolers who move to New York, Queens, and they go to a STEM school, and they find out something weird about the school, that there was money buried near the school, and they find it later because they use their special techniques and skills, science, technology, engineering, and math, to find the treasure.
Okay, we have a caller. You can put your headphones on, bro. Hello. Yeah, we can hear you. Yes. Can you hear him?
I can hear you.
He can hear you. Huh? He's talking about going down. Oh. It's okay. It's okay.
Don't be nervous. Speak your thoughts.
Right. You can go ahead.
I'm sorry, what was your name again? Tari. This is Pat, and I'm the founder of the program, and I'm so glad that you called in and said what you said, because when we interviewed the kids for the program, we asked them what else they were passionate about, and Cordell, one of them was music, you know, and it so happened that what we were able to do with this Youth Writers Rock program was really take them through the intricate steps of writing a book, but then we also incorporated those other things that they were passionate about, you know. So even though Cordell wrote his book about bullying, he was able to then do some rap also about the book, you know, about bullying, you know, or just staying positive. So, you know, we definitely want to engage them in every area of things that they're passionate about. So we kind of combine music and books, and we kind of put that together. So I totally agree with you. You know, if it's a passion of theirs, we definitely want to kind of help mold that, as well as taking them through the steps of just being a creative writer. That's awesome.
Mr. Tyree? Mr. Tyree? Oh. Okay. I'm sorry, we only have a few seconds on the phone. But thank you for calling in. Yes. Definitely. Alright, you do the same. Hey, another motivated person. So I have a question for you also. As far as the program, what did you get out of the program as far as the Youth Writers Rock?
I got more knowledge, I can say, because I've learned different things along the way, and my instructors taught me new things, and like I learned more about grammar and writing, and I really love writing a lot, so it really helped me when I'm like, aside from the youth writers, I can write on my own time and write poems and raps, stuff like that. Okay. Since you've started the Youth Writers Rock, what new challenges have you faced or learned to face since you joined the program and finished and graduated? New challenges I've faced.
I mean how can I reword this? How do you apply what you learned from the Youth Writers Rock to the challenges you face in life today?
Some challenges, or I can't really think of any.
Like school, far as talking in groups in school, meetings, or like if y'all have, like say if y'all have to do a group assignment, do you like now, does like your mind work like better and is opened up?
Yes, it does, because I know like I have more vocabulary and I can write with the ease now. Like it'll flow from the top of my head. I don't have to think about it harder like I used to do.
Okay.
I write as well, and I'm very big on like technical writing and grammar, like as you mentioned. And social media, like for me, being on social media and seeing stuff like could of and words being spelled wrong and all of that sort of thing, do you have a new appreciation for words and for grammar as opposed to seeing all of the shorthand and misspelling and everything that goes on social media?
It kind of makes me feel weird, because I'm like, if you're trying to spell something, I'm trying to tell them to spell it the right way and like continue on with the word, because some people on social media, they cut off the word and assume that people can understand what they're saying, and it gets annoying sometimes.
Yes, that's my whole world.
Yeah, we also we allow them to write the book as if there were 4 kids in middle school just hanging out at the lunchroom table, because that's where all their ideas at the book came from. They were all at the lunchroom table. Like that was their meeting place. Whenever they got to that lunchroom table, they figured out ways to find this missing treasure that has been missing over 50 years, and so the STEM book is really for students, who was really skillful in engineering, technology, science, math, and they came together and used those skill sets to find a treasure that the police, the FBI, no one could find, that had been missing for over 50 years, and so they had to, in the book, use some of that slang, if you will, because they're middle school kids talking to each other, so when you read the book, you get the big words because they are at a STEM school, but then you also get, the middle schoolers talking to each other, so you get a little bit of both when you're reading the book, so you can tell when they're serious and they're trying to find this money, and you can tell when they're just hanging out in the park. Okay. Because the language changes.
Okay, and that's a good way to show that there is a time and place for everything. So that's pretty cool.
Right. So yeah, so it's a big, like Terrell was saying, just taking some of the experiences that they learned through the program from the instructors, and big shout out to all of the instructors in the program that were patient with them, that walked them through how to be a creative writer. You know, they had the thoughts, they had the ideas, and they showed them how to now put that on paper, you know, how to speak creatively, how to write creatively, you know, and they did an excellent job with this class that we had. So to all the instructors that were part of the Youth Writers Rock program, the 2017, personally, I just couldn't have done it without them, you know, because they made a huge impact on these kids.
Yeah.
And we was even saying to the last minute, they may not realize right now what it means that they're an author. Right. It may not hit them yet, you know.
Right.
But I think some of them it actually is hitting. I know that Terrell's mom have already purchased like 3 installments of books. That's just how fast he's selling them, you know.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so we just, December the 9th will be our last leg of our 2017 book tour.
Okay.
So we took the kids after the program on different book assignments, you know, different book events, you know, just kind of giving them the experience of being an author, you know, signing books, talking to people about your books, you know, engaging them and wanting them to buy your books. So the program wasn't just, oh, go through the 6 months, you're an author, bye. You know, we now taking them through the steps of now you're an author, now what? This is the next thing. This is what we're doing next, you know. So we're doing things like radio interviews, TV interviews, different book events like that. So our last book leg for the tour will be on December 9th, and then we take it into 2018.
Okay. Oh, snap. I see you, Terrell. I see you throwing big things over there, bro. Man, all right, so for the youth writers, right, what was some of the fun parts you had when we was doing this?
The fun parts was I liked to tell like the instructors. The instructors sometimes gave me a job for like sorting out things. So if there was like a whole bunch of ideas, one day I could sort out the ideas and say which one is the best, and that was fun because to me I like picking and choosing, and I'm a picky person. So yeah, it was fun, and I like sharing my book with people. Okay. That's a fun thing too.
Awesome. So I lost my whole train of thought.
What keeps you going? Like, what about writing and this whole process keeps you going and that makes you want to keep pushing forward and being an author and being a writer?
Well, because I like to push forward with writing because I want people to know what I'm thinking on a piece of paper, and I want to share my thoughts and my story with other people so they know where I'm coming from and who I am. And that's what makes me like writing, because I like writing, and I'm an author now, and I like people to know.
I love hearing them say that.
It's incredible.
I'm an author now.
That's incredible. Good for you.
Thank you.
Also, if you have social media, you can go ahead and explain, tell everyone about your social media, where they can find you, find your work.
I have an Instagram. It's called TDM_author, Terrell Miller. And yeah, I only have Instagram.
Okay. But y'all heard it from Terrell yourselves. We'll be right back with you after this commercial break on the Artist Exchange Radio.
Business owners, need more customers? Offer fantasy sports contests and generate more sales. Restaurants, bars, hotels, auto dealerships, real estate offices. Whatever your business, fantasy sports contests can help you increase your sales and bring you more loyal customers. Visit Fanify.com or call 888-55-SPORT. Our software lets you customize contests fast and easy for your brand. That's right. Visit Fanify.com or call 888-55-SPORT. That's 888-55-SPORT. Or visit Fanify.com.
Check out this flashback of the Artist Exchange Radio Show on BeExposedRadio.com.
Joining us right now is Mr. Antonio Long. He was one of our first See Baltimore artists. That tour is actually under construction, and we're doing some revamping and making sure the foundation is solid.
Yes.
So we haven't forgotten about it. So December we kind of took a pause, and we'll be back up and running in January. My mind is gone. Food. I need food. If you're in the downtown Baltimore area and you have a cheeseburger in your hand, definitely stop past the studio. Give me a call and let me know where you are, and I'll meet you wherever you are. But Antonio Long is joining us in the building. He's a singer, inspirational, not necessarily gospel, not necessarily R&B, but encompassed of both of them. Yeah. So let us know a little bit about who you are, what you do.
Singer, writer, recording artist, and I just like to make good music.
There we go.
From Baltimore.
So possibly we'll hear a little bit of it live if he's not afraid, because we throw people under the bus.
Yeah.
Talent wise.
No doubt.
On this show. We got to see if you got the chops to sink or swim.
Okay.
We do it. We do it. We don't hold back here. We don't hold back here. But we'll definitely try to hear from him a couple more segments. So let us know about your music. So do you have an EP coming out, or is it one in the making?
I just released the EP, actually, October 28th.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, it's called Life.
Life.
Yeah.
So what was it like making that?
It was fun. This is my first, it's 8 songs on the project, so it's kind of a little more lengthy than your typical EP. But I put out a mixtape last year, but this is my first official project. Everything else has been singles. So
you're singing your own music now?
I'm singing my own music.
Did you write it?
All original music. Yeah.
Okay.
And it was fun. The creative process was fun. I worked with Junior Lee.
Okay.
With Faith Junkie Productions. He's based out of Delaware.
Okay.
And it was fun. You know, I was going up there. 2-3 times.
It was business because it's your money on the line.
Definitely.
Right. No major labels.
Yeah, no doubt. It was fun. It gave me. I mean, it's more work than what I expected. Honestly, I mean, because
you're doing a bunch of different. You're writing and the performer in it, so that's 2 big jobs right there.
Yeah, it was definitely. But creatively, it was great. It was great collaborations. I also worked with Anthony Johnson. He produced a song off of the EP. He's from Virginia, and I worked with So For Real Productions.
You deal with some legit individuals. Okay.
Yeah. So.
The Artist Exchange Radio Show every Friday 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. every Saturday 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Real artist, real talk, real live on Be Exposed Radio.
You're listening to the Be Inspired Radio Show. Well, TGIW, everybody. Welcome to the Be Inspired Radio Show right here on BeExposedRadio.com with your girl, Miss Be Inspired on the mic.
Yeah. You already know one of the co-hosts, Blizzard.
And the artisan Angel HL7 Asher.
Right on time, my man. Right on time. Glad you made it. So as you know, we are here live every Wednesday from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can hang out with us right here on www.beexposedradio.com. And just because we love you so much, we give you more ways to tune in. You can check us out on YouTube at the Be Exposed Radio's channel. Go ahead and subscribe to that channel. You can see all of the Be Inspired Radio shows, and not only that, you get to check out all of the wonderful shows on Be Exposed Radio. And then, because we love you so much, you can check us out on Facebook Live on the Be Exposed Radio Show page, or on the Be Inspired Radio Show page live. And we love the Facebook Live because we can interact with everybody, and I love all the reactions, and people don't feel afraid to give their comments on there. But you know what, you can call us sometime too, because we want to hear from you. You can call us at 410-702-5657, or you can text us at 443-642-9403. we love hearing from our guests. Last week we had Frazier from the UK call in and give us a shout out, so thank you, Frazier, Frazier. He's a good friend of the show, and also to the Miss B Inspired brand. He is definitely somebody that I'm looking forward to collaborating with in the future. So shout out Frazier. Thank you so much for giving us a shout out on the show. Woo! That was a mouthful. What else? Oh yeah, if you want to be a guest on the show, we are running an amazing special.
Artist Exchange. The Artist Exchange. The Artist Exchange. The Artist Exchange.
The Artist Exchange.
The Artist Exchange Live.
The Artist Exchange. The Artist Exchange.
The Artist Exchange.
Starts now.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
State your name.
Patricia Harris. I am the founder of the Youth Writers Challenge 501c3 organization.
Awesome. Hey, Terrell, I got a question for you, man. Since you're a published author and everything, how does it feel going out, like when you signing books and signing your name? Like, hey, man.
It makes me feel great. I feel professional just signing my signature on a book when people ask me for it.
You be practicing at home.
Awesome.
So what are your goals? What are the things that you are kind of right now you're mapping out? I know you're in middle school, right?
Yes.
You just mapping out, some preliminary goals. What are your long-term goals?
One is going to school for 8 years to become a doctor in that field and become a more known author in the world, and with a lot more books, and publish way more books.
What kind of books do you like to read for yourself?
I'm into graphic novels, and yeah, I'm into like the drawing, the comics, and some informational books.
Terrell's a great artist.
I like to draw.
Do you see that being one of the things that you start, that possibly you'll put out a graphic novel, include in your artwork and your story? Because a lot of people don't do, like, I'm not sure if anybody has done that, but it's not something that I've heard of personally. Would you do something like that?
I would actually write a whole book and then do all the illustrations for it.
Nice.
So that's book number 2. Will there be a second part to this book, or?
Yeah, these books, all 3 of them actually are series, a series books. So when we start our next session, hopefully that'll be in February. We'll be picking up. It'll probably be 2 years later, because it'll be with a new group of students.
Okay, so every year and a half or so,
right?
You switch over,
right?
Wow.
Right.
So what are some of the things that each one of these groups get? Like, how do you work with them? Or is it just you help them publish a book? You work with them to getting it out there? What is that?
Well, the program is designed to do a couple of things, and I think we achieved that. One is to, we started the program because of the Authors Expo. What I realized and noticed is that a lot of the students, a lot of the adults were bringing children to the expo with them. And then I just kind of saw,
Children's Corner.
Right, and I just saw how curious they were when they was picking up these books. Not that they would read these adults' book, but they was feeling the cover of the book. They was just feeling the book in the hand, and then knowing the person who wrote the book was sitting right in front of them. Wow. So what I saw was them thinking that could be me, So what I did was I said, okay, I got to incorporate the youth into this whole Authors Expo experience, and that's why we came up with the Youth Writers Challenge to kind of get them back into the basic of writing and reading, but having fun while doing it, And so what we do with the program is we just take them through these intricate steps of writing, creative writing, descriptive writing, and then teaching them also things like brainstorming, working with the team, collaborating, because
I know adults that don't have those skill sets.
Yeah, and just kind of working as a group and working as a team, and the instructors did an awesome job with helping them through that whole process of shooting ideas off of one another, and taking ideas from someone else and not feeling like they trying to take over or anything, you know, just accepting their suggestions and moving forward with it. So once they've gone through the program and they've graduated and they're now published authors, we then start the next leg, which is marketing and promoting. So we teach them how to promote.
The biggest part of
we
it.
teach them how to market. We teach them how to engage the person in front of them. We teach them how to sell books. You know, we bring them on radio shows like the Artist Exchange radio show and kind of give them the experience of doing a live interview, you know, and so we do that for a whole year.
Okay. What's the difference in working with the adults versus the young people doing book publishing and promotion?
They listen to me.
The young people.
The young people, yeah. You know, with both groups, they both have their own personalities. You know, the adult authors, you know, sometimes it's like, I just can't, you know. And with the kids, I'm like, I just can't, you know. But they both have passion. They both had the same passion. They both have the same drive, you know. And they both want to be good authors, you know, who I think that everyone's goal is to sell a lot of books. But just as an adult, we already set in our own mindset, you know. We want what we want when we want it, and as a youth, we can offer up other suggestions, and they'll listen to us, you know, and kind of take what we say is, you know what, maybe I better do that because she's saying it's best for me. So that was the biggest challenge. You know, I might offer some suggestions to some of the adult authors, and it might be, well, no, I don't want to do that, but the youth authors might take it.
And me coming up with the topic for today, finding the topic for today, that was kind of the gist of what I thought was happening. Because as artists, we forget what that passion was as a child. Just that I want to do this. Not, well, I can't because I got bills and I got babies, and we forget like how connected to our youth we have to stay in order to make that passion, you know, long term, and the legacy of it just grow. So that was kind of the point of the topic for today, because we have to tap back into that youthful ignorance so we don't have these known fears or these hesitations in us trying to go forward. But yeah, so that I could see that being like number one for you, like letting them stay children, and maintain that so they can keep the creativity going.
And during the program, we tried to do things that were fun because like he said, you know, at times it was Saturdays where some of them.
Ooh, Saturdays? Ooh.
Every Saturdays for 6 months, these kids committed themselves.
Give me 5, young man.
Every Saturday, they came in there. They was there before the library even opened, and they did their job for 6 months straight, you know. Wow. And kudos to them. Kudos to their parents for getting them there, you know, on time to be a part of the program. But they did an awesome job, you know, and like you said, this right here is an experience that they're gonna have with them forever, even though they don't realize it yet.
They're gonna remember
gonna
it,
be there,
especially,
you know?
And that's why I tell adults, don't dumb down what you say. Talk to children in terms of you talking to them and they're 99 years old, because they're going to remember some of those things. And they still going to make mistakes. They're still going to choose their own path off, but they know when it's time to look back and kind of fix those mistakes, where their lessons and their foundation was built on. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And knowing that, hey, I did this at 10, 11, 12 years old, I can do anything. I can try at least to do whatever I want to do, you know. So many adults have said, I'm going to try and write this book. I'm going to try and write this book, you know. But now these young youth are saying, I'm going to try and be a doctor. It's not even I'm going to try and write the book anymore, because I've done that, you know, check. And,
so
and move on, right. So now they've already got that sense of, I did this. I committed myself for 6 months.
Right. And it's playtime. Playtime is always a good thing as a child, because you got to sometimes release. But as parents, and I'm not a parent, so I'm not telling anybody what to do, but I'm just saying as a child, I was a child at one point, those moments where my mother forced me to go to school and got up early and did those things, those are the things that I hold. I don't remember going outside and playing often. I remember those lessons that I had to sit down and learn, because those are the things that I'm actually using right now. I'm not using the playtime. You know, I'm learning how to have more playtime as a child, as an adult, because that's what, relaxes our mind and stimulates it. But you got to put in the work. Like, he has a plan for 8 years, and I'm just telling you that 8 years means you're going to lose a lot of winter breaks. You're going to lose a lot of summer breaks. And not lose them in terms of not having them, but it's going to be school time. Because, school is set up for like 5-6 years, really, with the semesters. But you're going to have to take some summer classes, some winter classes to get to that 8 years. So remember that when you're like, man, I want to go down to Miami for this. Nope, school time. Get the work done now, and then you can play later. A lot of us played then, and now we're working extra hard now. So
like grind now, shine later, pretty much.
Right.
Was there any moment in this process that stuck out the most to you? Like, what part of this process do you remember the most, or you enjoyed the most?
The publishing part stuck out to me.
So did they show y'all how the book is published, or just preparing for it to be published?
Preparing for it to be published.
Okay.
It stuck out because I never thought I would actually get like a book really published. Well, when I was younger, I really...
He said younger, like you like 2.
When I was like 6 or 7, and I was drawing my own little comic strips and writing my own stories and ideas, one day I dreamed that they were going to be published, and now I got a book published with some other people, and the instructors helped me, and they made my dream come true.
And you realize that's how simple it is. The hardest part is what you had to do, the creative part. Their job it's hard, but the job is already done. They just making it look pretty and polished and monetary. That's what they're doing. So.
And I committed to it because even though I had to wake up every Saturday morning for 6 months, I knew that.
You remember that? I think you remember all the time.
At the end, I knew that at the end it was going to be totally worth it, and everything after that was going to be great.
Wow.
See, and that's determination right there, and consistency for real, And you spoke into an existence, and you manifested in it, and that's why where you at today.
Are any of your friends now interested in writing their own books because they see that you did it?
My chorus teacher, actually, he said, because they announced me on my morning announcements that saying Terrell Miller wrote a book. He's now a published author, and my chorus teacher said I inspired him to write his own book, so he's already done with the intro.
So would you refer your friends to Youth Writers Rock? Why would you do that?
Because I know some of my friends love writing, and I know they would want an opportunity, but their parents would probably not. They probably haven't looked out yet and saw because they probably never told their parents that their love of writing, because they only write at school.
Okay.
So are you looking for bestseller? Are you aiming for that? Have they introduced you to what, like the categories and awards, and are you ready for that aspect of this? That's awesome. I'm enthralled because as a child, I had these dreams, but like you said, you seem so disconnected. You think that's such an adult thing. It's so difficult, but probably the way you broke it down to them, it kind of made it possible. Like, all I have to do is be creative, and then funnel that creativity to.
And we had to really get the parents, because if the parents don't believe it, they're not going to believe it.
That was what I was about to ask. How important is it do you think that it is for you to have like an open line of communication with your parents as far as your dreams and your goals and what you want to do? Because a lot of times kids don't express that sort of thing to their parents. So how important do you think that is?
I think it's really important because I expressed to my parents that I really like writing and that I want to be a published author and that I want to get my books out there. So they pushed me through and they said I had to be committed. So I stayed committed.
And there were plenty of Saturdays when they came in there, just was like, I mean, I get it.
That's the groove, the pocket.
Right, I get it. So we were in the library, I think 3.5 to 4 hours. We were like from 10 to 1.
For 6 months?
From like 10 to 1, So I made sure I brought, like, even though you were supposed to bring the stuff in the library, I had juices and snacks, whatever I could, to just kind of keep them engaged, because I know what it was like. There was plenty of Saturdays where I just didn't want to get up, but we too had to make that same commitment as they did, you know, to be there every Saturday, and like I said, as well as the parents. And so we try to do fun things. We would have lunch meetings at Pizza Hut. Come on, everybody. We're getting out the library today. Let's go to Pizza Hut.
That new age thinking.
I just want to shout out Miss Dondi Fortune, your mother. She's
all
going
over. Ham over
She's
here.
all over the Facebook.
That's my
Live.
son. That's
and I love
Just wave to the camera right there.
Just
wave right there.
Hey, Mom.
And that's the important. That's what makes the difference.
She said you've been writing since you were 3. You started making comic books. So shout out to her. I love that.
Terrell, when he was probably 8 or 9, we did a youth writers challenge. We've been doing a youth writers challenge a couple of times a year, and that's basically students have the ability to do poetry, short stories, or rap or sing, and we would do them in different places. So the last one we did was in Damonn Mall in April, and you know, he would do his poetry. And I think you did probably 3 of the challenges. And then when I saw that, when we said, okay, now we're going to do the program, they was the first family I reached out to.
Cool. See that? Got to put in the work.
And when I first went to one of your poetry competitions, my older brother Marquise was in the competition.
Yes.
So then me and my mom were just walking around looking at other authors' books. And my mom, she bought a book from a kid, a youth, that made his own book, and I looked at it, and I was just wondering, what if this was me? I can make a book like this.
Absolutely.
He was young. He was young, and he made a book, so I thought I could make a book. So then that inspired me, too.
So lastly, and then we're gonna have to bring in the third author, Mr. Isaiah. But the financial aspect of it, how well have you prepared them for that in terms of this many books equals this many dollars, or this is what you have to do to get to this point in terms of budgeting, finances, contracts, stuff?
That conversation was mostly had with their parents because they'll be the gatekeeper of that. So we did conference calls. We've had conference calls on just walk through different ways of marketing themselves. You know, Terrell, if he's not up already, will have his own webpage with his book on it, so that when they do promote the book or others want to promote the book, they'll just go straight to his webpage and he gets all the profits. And then it's like, okay, when the profits come through, do we put those into another account, you know, for school, you know? So when it came to the financings and, you know, what to do with the profits from the book sales, those conversations were done with the parents. So that they can make, you know, the best logical decision for their youth.
So they're also being prepared for the breakdown of, you know, this is what the book costs, but this is what you actually receive at the end. That's awesome, because you got to know.
And they've learned it themselves, because when they do book signings, you know, one of the youth, the very first book signing we did, 2 ladies came. They were from out of town, and they was just like amazed that these kids have written these books, and they was like, we want all 3 of them, you know. So they bought all 3 of them. So after they left, I gave each of them their money, and they're like, we get to keep this, you know, like we get to keep this. And I'm like, you wrote the book, you know, you are one of the authors of this book. So yes, every book sale you make, you keep the profits to it, you know. So now they see it as a business, you know. And what my husband said to them all was that today, which was the graduation day, you all entrepreneurs. You are business owners at this point. This is your product. This book is your product, you know. So
that's phenomenal. So really don't feel like you got to buy everything, you know, really put yourself on a budget and understand money is just money. Like it's going, you will be able to do those things in time. Just save as much as you can. Save as much as you can, please, sir. It'll never be enough, but just save as much as you can.
Like what's that the guy from the House of Delicates said? What you bring into the table? And you bringing the whole table.
So we're going to take another quick break. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Terrell, for coming in and sharing your story with us. We have another author coming in, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
Oh, yeah.
driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ball in street? Girl in street!
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Check out this flashback of the Artist Exchange Radio Show on BeExposedRadio.com.
Joining us right now is Mr. Antonio Long. He was one of our first See Baltimore artists. That tour is actually under construction, and we're doing some revamping and making sure the foundation is solid.
Yes.
So we haven't forgotten about it. So December we kind of took a pause, and we'll be back up and running in January. My mind is gone. Food. I need food. If you're in the downtown Baltimore area and you have a cheeseburger in your hand, definitely stop past the studio, give me a call, and let me know where you are, and I'll meet you wherever you are. But Antonio Long is joining us in the building.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Welcome back to the Artist Exchange Radio. I'm your host, Hollywood. We have our co-host,
Sweet Baby. Happy Saturday, everybody.
Also, we have our special guest in the building, young author. You can go ahead and state your name.
Isaiah Benjamin.
Okay, we also have Miss Patricia Johnson Harris.
Hello, everyone. I am the founder of the African American Authors and Empowerment Expo, as well as the Youth Writers Challenge, a 501c3 organization.
So, Isaiah, I see you got big things coming on. How does it feel being a young author?
Feels good, man. It feels really good. I wasn't expecting this, at first. I just thought it was gonna be like we write it and then we were kind of done. But yeah.
Bring your mic closer.
Okay. So I heard you got a book signing. Can you tell us a book signing tomorrow, actually? So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. Well, how it happened was I told one person in the church, and then that person told the whole church, told my pastor, and then my pastor talked to me, and he was like, "We want to have a book signing for you, and just a day to celebrate you."
Oh, that's amazing. How do you feel about that? How does it make you feel?
It makes me feel good. It's a good opportunity.
That's awesome.
How long have you been writing?
This is the first time, actually. Yeah. This program is how I started writing.
Oh, wow.
That's amazing.
How did you find out about the program?
My grandmother found out about it, and then she told my mom, and then my mom acted on it, and she contacted Miss Pat and got me in it.
What have you thought about being a writer or author, or what are your other creative outlets?
I like to make beats. Yeah, on FL Studio.
Okay. You in my type of field a little bit. Yeah, that's what's up, man. So when you started the Ruth Writers Rocks, what did you expect to get out of it? What was your initial reaction once your first day there?
Man, I thought it was kind of boring. But once we kept doing it, by the third week, it was fun. Started, I made some friends.
That's good.
It was just really fun.
So you're in high school now?
Yeah.
What school you go to?
Franklin High School.
Okay. So how do you connect this with school? So is this just another project that you're doing, or is this something that you can foresee yourself doing down the line? Or I know you into music as well, so is this something that you want to attach to that or continue doing?
Yeah, this is something I want to attach to that.
So musically, what inspires you? What are those things that give you inspiration to create your music?
Just life, just personal things that I deal with every day, feelings.
Is there anything that you want to get out in terms of writing? So, anything you want to express, or anything you want to, put in a book or in your music?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
In terms of your music and your writing, is there anything that you want to express or anything you want to talk about in terms of putting it in a book or in a song or in your music? Any issues or topics or experiences?
Well, when it comes to bullying, this bullying book, I was actually a victim of bullying when I was in middle school. When I was in 8th grade, I was coming home. Actually, it was after school, cause I was in the drum line, so I stayed after school. Walked home to the bus stop, and a group of high school kids actually attacked me. And yeah.
So you want to help other young people that suffer from that or were victims of that?
Yeah, I want to help them and let them know that they're not alone.
Do you see yourself out writing anything outside of the program? Like, did the program spark anything about writing for you? Like, will you get into poetry or writing essays outside of what you've done in the program?
Yeah, it did. It made me a better writer, because at first I wasn't really that good at writing.
That you knew.
So now, as far as the writing, has it helped you out with your music? Does it help you write more lyrics for being an engineer, or do you write music towards you when you make your beats?
Yeah, I write music now too. Some of my beats.
Okay.
So we got an album coming out. It's gonna be like a package deal soon.
Maybe.
Get your album, song, and book. You know what I'm saying?
So tell us, can we find your music places, or is it published yet, or is it out there?
Yeah, I have a YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is Trill the Producer.
Okay. Where do you see yourself going in the next couple of years? Because what grade are you in now?
11th grade.
11th grade. So you're now starting to think about college or working, and what does that look like for you?
College, yeah, that's a big one.
Do you know what college you want to go to yet?
No, I'm still thinking about it.
Have you taken SATs? You I think this a prep year, so they take the practice right now.
Yeah.
So are you nervous about that, or?
Yeah, I'm a little nervous.
In terms of you picking a school, will you major in music or writing, or have you started thinking about what you want to actually major in?
Yeah, I want to major in something like computer science or cybersecurity.
Okay. So how will that help you in general? Will that connect to another passion or another job or career?
Yeah, maybe like some cybersecurity, like some CIA type stuff.
Okay, he want to get into your secret wiring.
Right, so trying to wiretap was putting flies in the house with video cameras on it.
And the great thing about writing is no matter what other lane you go down, you can always bring it right back to writing, so even if he's going to really focus on music, you still have to write some of the music, or you can write your own music.
Right.
Then you can write a book about writing music.
Right.
That's possible. This is the second year that I've gone to, well, actually the third year I've gone to your festival, your book festival, and I've learned that there's so many different types of writers, and I'm coming from theater, so that's all I read is scripts.
Right.
But I've met so many different, and it's not just urban novels, but it's sci-fi, and I've gotten to meet so many different authors sitting in front of me here. Did you get a chance to meet any of the adult authors throughout this process?
Yes, I met Miss Jackie Gardner. Oh, and of course, Miss Pat.
She doesn't tell people much.
And Natasha, I think he met them, but probably didn't know that they were published authors. Because even going through this whole program, we never put that on them. Like, I'm an author, so you can do it too. You know, we kind of totally left that out, that we were authors, but because we was able to use our knowledge of it to help them become authors, So, it was just kind of the inside thing. We were published authors, and that was a goal, was to actually have some of the instructors know the process, and what it was like.
What part of this process, in terms of you writing your book and working with Miss Pat, stuck out to you the most? I know those we don't got to talk about the Saturdays because I know that was a lot, but what part of this process kind of did you enjoy the most?
That's what I was about to ask.
The part at the end when you start to see it all really come together. When we finally get all the chapters written.
So you break it down with them process by process by process, and then are you projecting with them or showing them like what the end result could be, or do they see that, or is just they building along the way?
Well, they know the beginning and what we hope the end to be.
Okay.
And they fill in the middle.
Okay.
But that could change. It could change just as they start talking and they start collaborating. That ending could change just based on the three personalities that are sitting right there, But they do have a clear vision of where the story is going to end or how it's going to end, just in their week-to-week dialogue with one another and with the instructor, know. So it was really important for us to ask them, how do you see this ending? Who do you think this book is for? Why do you think it's important? That's why with the high school group, the high school book, there's resources in back of the book, that anyone reading the book can go to the website and find out about bullying. How do you report bullying? What do you do if you see someone bullying? What do you do if you're being bullied? It's a good read. It's funny because it's the kids. They got their own little funny things going on in the book, but then it's also full of resources. So because like Isaiah said, he experienced that,
right?
So would things have been different if he had these resources handy,
So that's my question to you, Isaiah. In terms of your experience with this, and trauma could really take you to the extremes of either side, where you just close off completely, or you totally, use that as like a catapult to, launch whatever you want to do in life. How much of your experience did you put inside of the book? Like, how much of you personally did you want to share in that book, or did you share in the book?
It's a lot of little things about me. Like, I make beats. I put that in there. Like in the book, my character, he sold a beat to this rapper, and then it blowed up. So,
how much about yourself did you learn? Like, because sometimes we go through life and we don't really watch ourselves, but how much of you did you learn about in doing this process?
I learned that I can be a good writer.
And it just wasn't, because I know plenty of people have gotten through school and just writing just wasn't their thing, but you learned how to write better, or you just learned the technique of writing?
I learned the technique because it was never really my thing.
How did the program help you as far as school so far?
As far as school, I told some of my teachers, that I wrote a book this summer, and they look at me different. They respect me.
Did it, how did it affect your grades? I think that's what she was kind of get at. Like, are you more into writing your papers? Because right now in high school, you're writing a lot more than you probably ever have in your school career. But has that gotten easier for you now?
Yeah, it's gotten a lot easier.
Is there anything that you want to share about this experience overall? If you're talking to another young person that wants to write a book, and they may be a little timid about, sharing their story or their experience, or they just don't know what to write about, or they don't feel like they're good writers. Is there any advice that you can give to them?
Well, I think you should write about your personal life, like what you struggle with, and if you do that, I think it will be easy
Okay. Would you refer anyone to Youth Writers Rock? Like, would you refer your friend to it if they want to become an author or young writer?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Is there anything that so in you going forward with being an author, do you see yourself writing other books or continuing this, like taking this story to another level or exploring another topic matter?
Yeah, I could see myself writing another book about a different topic.
Would it be more like about music and how beat making is, or how the process of going through making beats, or would it be something totally different outside of that?
It would be something different.
Okay.
How was it co-writing with other authors?
It's fun. No, I was a little shy at first. I didn't really know everybody, but yeah, they're real nice. Cordell, that's my man.
In terms of, because co-writing could be a little challenging in terms of I got my idea, and keeping the book cohesive. What did you learn about working on a team?
Working on a team, you have to listen to other people's ideas. Even if you don't like it, you should give it a try, because you may change your mind later on.
So, real quick, my question to you, Ms. Pat, why have them do collaborations instead of their own individual books?
There was a couple of things behind that. This particular session, the funding wasn't there to do individual books. You're talking about publishing 10 books
right
at one time. And then this particular group, we thought they would work better collaborating with one another. It wouldn't be so stressful for them to write a book on their own, you know, but being able to work with others, they can bounce ideas off one another, you know, and it just wouldn't be so much of a burden.
Right.
You know, and I think we might actually keep it that way, just because we've seen, one, how well they work together, but two, how it made the process easier for them versus one youth writing one book. They got to come up with ideas for the entire book. You know, but with this, even though it's a chapter book, but they don't have individual chapters. Each of them is in every single chapter of the book, you know.
That's what I thought was different about it, in terms of sometimes when you co-write, it's like you just turn in your work and then somebody mixes and masters it, and that's what it is. But so you have to stay connected. Once your program is over, they have a reason now to stay connected because they have this thing where they all collaborated equally on it.
Right. And that's why when we do events or book signings, I try and have the three of them together, you know. So someone's looking at the book cover, or the four of them, and then looking at the book cover and then looking at them, and they can really see it and put it together, you know. But I think the collaboration was a huge success for this particular program, and that's probably the way we'll be doing it moving forward.
So this is the end of our youth authors component of the Artist Exchange. I want to thank you so much to each of the young people, first of all, for coming out on a Saturday and doing this. Can you tell me where we can find the books, where we can purchase them, where we can find you all, how a young person can join Youth Rocks?
The one thing that we all have to do is we have to support these youth authors, you know. Like I said, when they become authors, they become entrepreneurs, and we need to show them all the support we possibly can. So all three books, one we didn't mention today was the elementary book. It's called The Adventures of the Super Red Balloon, and it's just about three young elementary school kids who use the powers of this red balloon to help other people in their community. But all of the books can be purchased on our website at theyouthwriterschallenge.org, or the program has its own web page, theyouthwritersrock.com. And
people can purchase the book through there as well. Yes,
absolutely. And of course, all the proceeds go to benefit the program itself for our next 2018 session.
So thank you, Mr. Isaiah. Thank you, Miss Patricia.
Thank you.
For continuing to stay connected and supporting us. And whatever we can do, you know, we're always available to you. So,
I appreciate
and to you,
that.
young man, whenever you're ready to come back, let us know.
Yeah, man. Hit you up for some beats, man.
Congratulations.
So we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. We have our last artist of the day, Mr. Damion-ish. He'll be joining us, and we'll be talking all about visual art and what he does. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back to the Artist Exchange Radio Show, only on BeExposedRadio.com.
Only in the forest can you see this. But nothing beats the moment you see that. Cool! That's your child's eyes opening up to a world of possibilities.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org. Learn about forests near you and discover cool things to do when you go. And you might just see this. Visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
There's a rumor going around that Tyler Perry and Oprah are beefing. Well, let me tell you about this. Tyler, okay, told Oprah, bitch, if you don't have my money, we're going to have a problem. Ooh. Oprah said, what is the problem? Ooh. You said if I don't have your money, there was going to be a problem. So Oprah is standing her ground like, bitch, I'm in charge. Yeah, you know, you may have a $250 million studio over there that you film all your shows and movies and stuff on, but I have the empire. That's what Oprah said.
Oh, these are her exact words. Allegedly.
I made this up. But
allegedly.
I made it all up. But there was a rumor that they were beefing. But Tyler confirms that they don't have any issues. So it says it was recently reported on the rumors that was swirling that the twosome were on the outs over constructive criticism of a Perry show. Well, I got some constructive criticism, and we can be on the outs, Tyler, and I don't give a damn because I'm gonna make a promo out of this anyway and share it to your page. I need the scenes on Have and Have Nots to be like 5% shorter, each one. I want you to watch an episode of The Young and the Restless, because this is supposed to be a soap opera. No one's dialogue on The Young and the Restless is like this. You don't have to talk about the random plant in the corner for 25 minutes on one damn scene.
They talk about random plants.
It was a blood stain on the floor for 5 episodes. I can't take it. We need to pick this up. I'm sorry. I love the Have and the Have Nots, and I continue to watch it in its 5th season, but I get so mad when I can go get myself a glass of water and come back and he had just started the next sentence in his first paragraph. I can't stand it.
They just want to get the point across.
It's not but you don't get the point for 4 episodes. It's too much. So, now according to ET Online reports, Tyler Perry has a pre-cut and dried response to, a pretty cut and dry response to the rumors about him and Oprah. Here's what he says. It's completely false.
What was that? That was your Tyler Perry impression? Oh, God. What?
That was my Medea voice.
Oh.
Nothing is accurate in this article except for mine and Oprah's names.
Check out this flashback of the Artist Exchange Radio Show on BeExposedRadio.com.
So we're going to get a little bit into the album with Miss Amira and learn the basis of it, the Banji soul of it all.
Yes.
So let us know, first of all, what is Banji soul?
Banji soul is basically just real. It's real.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Yes. Welcome back to the Artist Exchange Radio Show, powered by BeExposedRadio.com. I'm Zakiya, aka Sweet Baby, and I'm in the host seat. I am hosting, and I'm in the studio with. Can you please introduce yourself?
Ash, Damion, aka Ash.
All right, Damion, aka Ash. Can you tell me what it is you do? Why you in here in the Artist Exchange Radio Show?
Excellent. What I do is I'm an animator. I pretty much take ideas that I have in my mind and I put them in a form where other people can experience them. So I use a software called Flash, where I take the ideas, I concept it out, storyboard it, then take that storyboard and then just animate it out so other people can experience my ideas.
Nice. And do you have a specific character that you animate, or is it just, tell me a little bit more about that.
That is an excellent question. Yes, I actually do have a character that I animate. His name is Eshbon. And Eshbon is, he's pretty much a personified cartoon version of myself. And he is the animated series is called Sagas of Eshbon. You spell it Eshban. And Sagas of Eshbon is just about things that I go through in life. I pretty much try to find comedy within things that frustrate me so people can look at it and laugh. And be inspired. Definitely be inspired.
What inspired you to get into animation?
Oh, you asked so many good questions.
Thank you.
So what inspired me was, it was crazy. So I used to be a substitute teacher, and one morning I was coming into class. There were no students in the room. I was a substitute, and I came into the class, and just this idea just hit me. It just lit up in my mind. And it was like, remember that time like a roach fell into your pancakes? I was like, yeah. It was like, why don't you just make that into a video? And I was like, okay. And it was weird. It just lit up in my mind. And as I started to think about it, and as I started to meditate on the idea, I got a piece of paper and the words, because I wanted the intro song to it, and I was listening, like I could hear it in my mind. It was like, and then after a while, it was ready, set, let's begin. Here we go once again. Which show is this? Sagas of Eshbon. And then that was the intro. And like if you go on YouTube and you type in Sagas of Eshbon, again that's Sagas of Eshaban. And you'll see all my stuff and the intro and stuff. But
that's it. Like, okay.
That's
funny.
Thank you. Yeah, that's the first episode when the roach fell into my pancakes.
No, I don't even want to ask how did the roach fall. Like, was it on the ceiling? Just wait for it.
I'm not even going to ruin it. You guys gotta watch it.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely tuning into that. What did you like when you do your animation? Are you drawing stuff out and sketching it like you're doing it the old school way, or do you use like a computer graphics program or something to do your drawings and illustrations before you animate them?
So like what I do is I use Flash, but it is like you said, it is like partially old school. So it's two forms of animation. You got a keyframe animation. That's when you draw a picture on a picture on a picture, and slowly, frame by frame, it looks like it's moving. And then there's another form of animation where you can like set points in which the set points, and then when you set points, you can transform the objects or rotate them, move them within 2D space, and then you can track it. So it'll say like the X and Y coordinates of this object are here, and then you move it to somewhere else, and then be like, okay, now the X and Y coordinates have transformed or have moved or have become greater or smaller, and then the computer will translate the space in between it. So if that makes sense.
It's interesting.
It's like a starting point and end point.
Yes.
Yeah, and the computer like dictates what happens in between A and B.
That's
pretty much. It's almost like it's like when you want to start like a zoom in for editing or something like that. I'm like, I want to start it here, and then I want it in here, so it zoom and it keeps zooming and then it stop like literally like right there.
Yeah.
Because I do some film editing myself.
Yes,
so.
it's just like that.
Okay.
And you actually use the the in between. That's what they call it. They call it tweening. So it's like when you create the start and the end point, those are two keyframes. Like you can tell the computer, like this is where I want it to start, this is where I want it to end, and then you click a button and it'll say tween. It'll say what type of tweening do you want, And then but yeah, you used the beautiful word in between. But yes, and yeah, you guys are awesome.
Did you have to, like you said, the idea just came to you from just being from out of nowhere, just basically, it was a stream of consciousness idea that came to you. Did you have to go to any classes or any schooling to learn how to do animation?
Yes. Oh, you was about to say?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Yes. Yes. I went to school. Actually, I went to a horrible school.
And what's this school, so we know not to go to this horrible school?
It's already shut down, so that nobody can go there now. It was ITT Tech.
Dang.
Yeah, they got shut down, so nobody can go there. They got shut down for obvious reason. They were a for-profit school. But I went to the school, and because at the time I was just really hungry. I knew what I wanted to do, and the recruiter told me that it was like, yeah, we offer a program that does that, and I was just so gung-ho. I was like, let's go. But anyway, so I did go to school, but mainly I taught myself. Like I said, the school was bad, so I would stay up night after night and just learn the software. I don't know if you guys have ever looked at a computer screen till when you close your eyes you can see the image on your right. Yes.
Yeah.
And that's how much I used to study animation and study just 3D, 2D. I used to study like that. I used to literally wake up, be on the computer, and then literally go to sleep. It would be night and then it would be day, and I would go to sleep with images of what I created literally in the back of my retinas.
Okay.
That's how I learned.
Okay. But pretty much hours and hours of consistency of practice, and practice. Like you say, practice makes better, better makes perfect.
Yes. So it's like anything. I think it was Denzel Washington said. He said, when you start, you're going to suck. So it's like
yeah, you're going to we're going to suck at something. That's what he said.
Yeah. So it's like don't be afraid to suck. That's how it starts. Like you start off weak, and you go stronger as you continually build that muscle and that skill. And that's how it was. And my passion was what fueled it pretty much. I was so passionate about it that when I spent that time on it, I didn't feel like it was work. I was just so eager to learn it.
Right, what you're doing, you're doing what you love, pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah.
It's like, man, I could do this all day,
literally,
every day. See, cause that's how I was yesterday. I was just on the computer, just editing, and I'm sitting here, and I'm like, all right, 9 hours done gone past. And I'm like, bro,
yeah,
I'm still going in. I'm just doing the first platform of it. It's not even right. I didn't get to the second part, the second layer.
You said that you mentioned a theme song for Sagas of Eshbon. Do you write?
Oh yes. Y'all want to hear something?
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So I wrote this one song called "Death to the Resume," and it goes, "Nothing was handed or given. I'm not a child of privilege. I just came to a point where I made a decision. I'd rather die than be a slave to a system, so I'm crawling through trenches. So Shawshank Redemption, God as my witness. I see the light at the end. The dream I envision. I'm a man on a mission. If you with me, you with it. If not, then keep your mind on your business." And that was just a part of it. If you want to hear the rest of it.
Something slight.
Yeah, just a little preview or whatnot. I just dabbing down.
So do you incorporate a lot of your music in your animated series?
Yes, I just got finished one. It was actually interesting. I just got finished a video called "Testimony of an Overcomer," and that just talks about this. It was a time in my life and where I was going through suicidal thoughts, and I wrote a song about that. And the song is called "Testimony of an Overcomer." And then at the end of the song, I just talk about what inspired that song. And it was just not me. I wasn't trying to cry for help. I was just trying to encourage people that may be going through the same thing. Because life gets hard, but even when it gets hard, you still gotta trust. I trust in God, God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I trust in God, put my faith in God. But sometimes still life gets hard, but it's you still gotta press. Walk by faith, not by sight.
So when did you become an artist? When did this?
As soon as I came out the womb, I had a pen in my hand.
That could have hurt.
Right? You know? When did I sign my check?
Yeah, I was my grandmother. I love my grandmother. Shout out to all the grandmothers because y'all always hold us down.
Nothing like grandma.
Right.
My grandmother. I used to have these ugly. I swear they ugly now, but when I drew them, I was on them. But I used to have these Mortal Kombat characters I drew. My grandmother kept them when I drew them when I was 8. My grandma.
Did anybody else to say something?
Right? I had Smoot. Smoot had like 20 different muscles on one arm, but that dude was still dope. Like,
it's kind of different. Kind of different. Kind of unique.
What kind of muscle was that? Oh, that's the bicep, tricep muscle right there. It's double in one.
So what are you doing like presently? Where are you at presently?
Right now, I do a lot of freelancing. I'm looking to get hired as for graphic design. I'm looking.
Pause for a second.
Yeah.
Freelance does not mean free.
Right. Agreed.
Freelance means I'm independent and I'm gonna charge you.
Right.
That's what that means. Go ahead. I'm sorry, because some people misconstrue words.
Thank you so much.
They try not to pay artists when it.
Nobody wants to pay art. People. It's like nobody's an artist except when they're paying for it. So it's like as soon as like, so I create something. They be like, I don't like it. I be like, why? They was like, because this, and this. He was like, all you gotta do is this, and this. I'm like, you paid me to do it. Don't tell me how to do my job. Like,
oh my goodness.
I never say to an artist, all you have to do is, because it's like.
It's a fine line when you're working and you're selling what you're working, because you have to be aware of what the customer wants.
Yeah.
But it still has to come from your perspective, and they should have done enough research to see your vast work. If they wanted something done to spec, they should be doing it themselves.
Right. So it's like that's what it is. Like, but yeah. So I do a lot of freelancing work, and freelancing is pretty. I love freelancing. Like clients are pretty cool. Like trying to drum up business, but like I was looking to. I'm talking right now to MPT, which is Maryland Public Television, and I'm also looking to get hired at. It's another one called CBS Radio. So like I was looking to do graphic design for either one of those organizations. But yeah, that's what I do.
So the business of who you are, how do you balance that with the creativity?
So like everything in my business is creative, but like I balance creativity because like it's hard. It's different to be creative for yourself because you're your own critic. And sometimes you're your own worst critic, but like when you're working with a client, they have a vision that you have to kind of like mold your gifts around. So like when I have a client and they tell me what they want, like it's never like, even like when you're doing it, like you don't want to tell the client that they're wrong, or you don't want to seem like that they're getting on your nerves, because that's not like professional.
Right.
But like and it's partially just being patient. It's a lot of patience. Just that's what it takes. Like if you creative for somebody else, you just have to be like really, really patient.
And you have to set yourself apart too, because you, like I said, when you're dealing with clients, you have to keep in mind what they're looking for, but you have to really explain to them and find, because you have to treat each client like they don't know what you're doing. And that could sometimes be a little off-putting to somebody that's paying for something. But you got to definitely put them in a space where they're comfortable and they're trusting the process. And that's where communication comes in.
Right.
So letting them know along the way, like, this is where I'm at. You know, this is the time, keeping them in tune with what you said the due line was. And then you keeping in mind what the due date was.
Yes. Like, because communication is key. Like, and sometimes, like, we have different means of communication. I'll always try to do, emailing is the last way I try to communicate, is because a lot of communication, people don't understand that words can be interpreted differently if you hear somebody saying it versus you see it on paper, because when somebody's reading in that mind, like they might be reading it in a tone that you don't specifically mean.
Based on their own feelings.
Yeah, right. Like, why are you yelling at me? Like, what are you talking about? I just said, like, well, I feel like you was like, look, it's not even like that. All I wanted to know was A, B, C, and D. Like,
well, we are lacking on one-on-one conversations, and people, like, telephone conversations are designated to people that I'm having sex with, or I'm madly in love with, or my mama. Like, outside of that, people don't want to talk on the phone. They, you know, texting and emailing and messenger is like how people communicate now. And we have to be open as artists and business owners to be able to give people what they want on their learning style, but, you know, initiate that in the beginning, and then they're comfortable with. And if they have an issue, if they say, well, can you text me because I get the message faster? Because it may just be their phone, maybe slow or whatever. But don't be so unmanageable that you like, no, all I do is talk face to face. I don't do anything else. but you know, because they are paying their money at the end of the day, so customer service is important.
Yes, that is a good point. Like for your first clients, I would definitely recommend like talking, because they don't know you like that. So like
in person, or if possible.
Yeah, especially in person. Like, but like, yeah, like later on down the line, when I get a feel for that client and they get a feel for me, then emailing and texting is usually fine, because they understand how I'm coming through the email or the text or just the word.
So I know I probably missed this, but what do you do?
I animate. I make stuff move.
Oh, okay. Pause. So how long have you been doing that?
I've been animating. Oh my goodness, it's been so long. Me and my friends, like, I learned pretty much what I was passionate about by doing a bunch of side projects. I had 2 other friends who were passionate. Like, we came out of University of Baltimore. We came out there, and we were. It was me and another friend. His name is Marcus Whitfield. We came out of, call him Mockman. We came out of University of Baltimore, and we linked up with another friend whom we met at an event. And his name was Carrington, and we met up with another friend in Rube. So all 4 of us got together. We decided that we wanted to create a video game, because we were like, we need a portfolio, and nobody's going to hire us, so we got to create our own portfolio pretty much. So like what we did, we created a video game called Box, and then we launched it. But through that process, it took us 3 years. It took us 3 years to create that video game. And like in that process, I was the one doing all the animation. And that's how I figured out I really loved animation. So I graduated, and it was probably like, I probably really started animation probably like somewhere 2011, 2012, 13, somewhere around there.
So is that animation, is that strictly for like cartoons or gaming, or like what?
That's a good question.
I'm lost. That's when it comes. I'm a Mario Brothers fan, as far as I got.
Yeah, Mario Brothers is dope.
Okay, wait, okay. Go ahead.
All right, cool. That's actually a really good question, because animation isn't like live. So like if I had a video camera right now and I was just filming us, like that would be considered like live video, and that's not considered animation per se. Even though it's moving, like animated is usually like rotoscoping, stop and go, claymation. So,
what the hell are you talking about?
like it's more, like you said, claymation.
Yeah, I've heard those words, but he was using them in a way where
Robot Chicken, that type claymation you talking
yes, Robot Chicken is claymation. Rotoscoping, they don't really do rotoscoping anymore. They used to do it. Disney did it. He did it a lot for his cartoons with like the Looney Tunes. They did there was a the cells. They had ladies who would paint the cells and who would ink the cells.
I didn't know that's what that was called. I knew about that process, but I didn't know it was called rotoscope.
Yeah. So like
he using words like like I say cheeseburger. That's it.
Rotoscope.
Right.
Rotoscope. Yeah, rotoscope.
So you could make like short animations for people, and
yes, but keep in mind, like people like think like that it's just that
I was asking them kind of.
No, that like again that makes sense, because people don't understand, like people think I blow like and then it's complete. Like I've spent hours on like 10 seconds, like
because I hear cartoons cost so much because it takes like a year to make each one of them. Is that true, or they just exaggerate?
No, it takes a long time. Oh my, like Toy Story 2, they actually messed up on Toy Story 2, and then they had to start over. Like so, but yeah, that's an interesting story. But like
to keep it cohesive, so every character looked the same the whole time.
I think it was Toy Story 3. No, Toy Story 2. They had to, it got deleted, and then they had to grab the files, and then Toy Story 3. I think they redid from scratch.
Yeah, because it's pretty cool. I actually been to Pixar and studios, man.
Still trying to go there.
Man, you're gonna love it. It's in Emerald City, man. You're gonna love it there if you get a chance to go there. But do you ever thought about creating an app? Part of your video.
The reason why I don't go into apps is because that's more on the programming side, so I'm more on the visual side.
Coding, I know a couple.
Yeah, coding. I don't do coding.
I know a couple things.
I have a friend that codes, like, and we link up, and we never work. We only encourage each other on separate projects. Shout out to my man Carrington.
He said on separate projects, like you do you.
But you got that.
You got that. That's awesome. Stay in your lane, like not trying to do everything because you can, but just stay in your lane and make sure the quality of what you already know how to do is good.
Pretty much, like it's pretty much mastering something instead of being a jack of all trades, like master of none. Like be good at something.
Pick something.
Yeah.
And then everything else you'll be able to do it. But just like all these rappers or actors that's already turning rappers, or people who got really good at something and then they switch lanes and like, well, whoa, wait a minute, where did that come from? Well, that's what they were doing originally, but we just learned that, you know, you have these skill sets because you mastered something, and now you're at a place where you can afford to branch out.
Yes, it's matter of fact, if you research the Valve handbook, Valve is a video gaming industry company, and I'm sure you guys are familiar with Steam if you play video games. Valve, they have the employee handbook, and the employee handbook talks about the employees that they look for, and one of the things that they bring up in the employee handbook is the T-shaped employee, and that vertical line of the T represents your specialty, what you do specifically, and then the horizontal line represents things that you're good at but you're not a master of. So it's so animation is my thing, but I'm good at graphic design. I'm good at I do a little bit of photography. I'm not really that good at it, to be honest. I just use it as a to study composition. I do a lot of stuff. So but again, even photography and graphic design, all that stuff is so close and similar to animation because they have certain similarities, like cinematography. Like there's cinematography and there's cinematography concepts in photography, even though it's a still shot. So things like perspective and how you're capturing the subject or the subject of interest.
And now they have more advancements in it, so now I've seen a lot of model shoots like this where it's a still shot, but it's something in the picture moving.
Yeah, so they probably did that stuff in After Effects, where it's
After Effects, oh my gosh, man, that takes
yeah, and then when you export it, it'd be 25 gigs.
So what's gonna happen is we just gonna have a show with Hollywood and
that'll be lit.
Ish.
Can you tell us where to find you on social media?
So if you go on Instagram _ESH_design DESIGN, you can find me on Instagram. If you go on, primarily I do YouTube, so if you go to YouTube and you type in Sagas SAGAS of Eshban ESHBAN Sagas of Eshban. If you go to YouTube and you type that in, then that's all me.
So we got one more question for you.
Yeah.
Yes. What advice would you give to your 17-year-old self?
That's a great question. You got so many questions.
That's what we do.
Yeah, you guys are good at what you do. I would tell myself, honestly, it's going to sound like the best wisdom that I have known is the stuff that's very simple. There is a lot of soundness and simple wisdom. And I would say, it's going to sound really cheap and corny, but I would say, endure and never give up, because that's very simple, but it's so sound. Consistency pays off long term. So find out what you're passionate about. Find out what you're passionate about as quickly as you can find it out, and do it. Keep doing it, and do it until something happens. People do things and then expect something to happen, and then when that thing doesn't happen, they quit. You can't do that. You got to do it until something does happen.
Right.
So it's what I expected. When I made the video about testimony of an overcomer, I got turned down, and that was pretty much the premise of the story. Is I got turned down from so many jobs, and I wanted to give up. But it was you keep doing it until you get a job. You don't do it until, and then when you get the job, and then when the job expects you don't get it. That's not when you quit. That's when you keep pressing until you do get something. So And that's what it's about.
That's a word.
And don't let small failures stop.
Amen. The doors of the church now open.
Wow.
This has been another episode of the Artist Exchange Radio Show powered by BeExposedRadio.com. Ash, thank you for joining us today.
No problem.
Come back next week, Friday at 7 p.m. We'll be in the building.
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
Okay.
Round
There
here.
you have it. Real talk, real artists, real live. Thank you for tuning in.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Around here.
You use Tearless Baby Shampoo because it's gentle on your baby's eyes. You make sure his toys don't have any sharp edges. You always test the bath